Hello everyone. Today we are going to study one of the most important question of Indian Constitution. The question is what we have in Indian Constitution, whether we have procedure established by law or we have due process of law. I will be writing these two things over here. The most important question what we have in India. Now, basically, I am expected to teach you just Article 21. But Article 21, as I told you, Article 21 is most liberally interpreted article of Indian Constitution. First thing, what is important thing? Article 21 is the most liberally interpreted article of Indian Constitution. Now, this Article 21, it tries to resolve a classical conflict between judiciary and parliament. Who has upper hand in India, whether judiciary has upper hand in India like America or parliament is sovereign India like Britain. So this is a very classical question that we will try to address in this very lecture, that is Article 21. Basically Article 21, it talks about one of the very important fundamental right, and the name of that fundamental right is Article 21 gives everyone right to life and personal liberty. Clear? Article 21 gives every individual right to life and personal liberty. See, this is very interesting article. At the end of this article, we will be coming to know one of the very important feature of Indian Constitution which we have studied in the beginning. The name of that feature is, in India, we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. I repeat once again what we have in India. In India, we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. So how it comes in India, that we will try to understand in a very simplified manner. So let's start with this article, Article 21. Very small lecture is there, very simple lecture is there. But I want every one of you should know what we have in India, whether we have procedure established by law in India or we have due process of law in India. I will be taking every minute detail about Article 21. Clear? So basically Article 21, it talks about a very important fundamental right. That fundamental right is right to life and personal liberty. Constitution gives every individual a right to life and personal liberty under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Now, a very important analysis. Let us say this is a citizen in India, right? Let us take an example. This is an individual citizen, right? Now, the citizen has been given various rights, various liberties. He has right to move from one place to another. He has freedom of speech and expression. He has freedom of profession. He has protection in respect of conviction for offenses, right? He has all kinds of rights, whether they are legal rights, they are civic rights, they are fundamental rights. All these things have been enshrined directly or indirectly into Indian Constitution. Everything is being provided by Indian Constitution in a direct manner or indirect manner. This is first basic aspect of Indian Constitution. Clear? Now, what it says, see, when we think about this individual is a common man, common person, which includes male as well as female. Now, when this person is enjoying his fundamental right, various forces, various powers, various authorities, various institutions and various people are there who will try to encroach upon the fundamental rights enjoyed by this individual. Now, the various forces, institution, people who try to encroach upon the authority of this individual can be categorized into four important classes. Those four important classes are, one is Mahesh Shinde. It means a common private person. I am putting here my name. One is Mahesh Shinde. Second is judiciary. Third is legislature. And last one is executive, right? So the fundamental rights enjoyed by this individual can be violated, can be taken away, can be encroached by these four important institutions. Mahesh Shinde, it means a private person. This private person also includes private person or private institution, like any firm. It can also take away fundamental right. Then second is judiciary, third is executive. Executive involves Prime Minister, his Council of Minister, President, Chief Minister, his Council of Minister, Governor, various IAS, IPS, IRS, all officers working under this entire administration. Those who are working for this executive will be part of executive. Then here it is legislature, which includes parliament in the center and state assembly in the state. Parliament involves Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. State assembly involves legislative assembly and legislative council. So all these people can try to or might encroach upon the right and liberty given to this individual by the constitution. Now, first case, suppose a private person, that is Mahesh Shinde, he makes an attempt to encroach upon right and liberty enjoyed by this person. For example, he is walking on a road. I brought my vehicle in front of him and I said, don't walk on this road. Though it is a government road, but I will not allow you walk on this road because I live on this particular floor and I will throw water on you. It means I am not allowing him to walk on that road. I am not allowing him to have movement on that road. I am not allowing him to express himself by walking on that road. It means I am violating his fundamental right. Now, if I violate his fundamental right, that is, if I block that person for walking on that road, this person will directly go to police. Right? This person will go to police. And police will catch hold of me. They will start legal proceedings against me. It means whenever a private individual or institution makes an attempt to encroach upon rights, liberties and authorities of an individual, he has very quick remedy against me. He can approach police. Same happens whenever there is a quarrel, whenever there is fighting in your society, you call police, police comes over there and they take away all the hooligans and all the goons from your society, from your entire colony. Why? This is very quick remedy where police, that is law enforcement agencies, will protect this person from any kind of encroachment activity by private person, private individual, private institution. So this person's right to life and personal liberty, this person's right to life and personal liberty is protected from private individual. It means a private individual or institution cannot take away the right to life and personal liberty given on this individual by the constitution. So I don't have right to take away right to life and personal liberty enjoyed by this person. So my question is over. Then let us think about judiciary. Now, judiciary do not go into legislative or do not have any kind of legislative or executive action. Judiciary has the main function to ascertain or to check whether everything is being carried on as per the constitution, as per the law, as per the rationality, as per the legality or not. Right? So it is least chance, or there is technically there should be a 0% chance that judiciary is encroaching upon the right to life and personal liberty enjoyed by this individual. There is 0% chance. Basically 0% does not exist. Why? Because it is ideal term and ideal things do not exist. So there are least chance that this judiciary will encroach upon the right to life and personal liberty enjoyed by this individual. Judiciary won't encroach. Judiciary will not encroach. Second important thing. Clear? Judiciary will not encroach. Now coming to third institution. The third institution is legislature. Now, this is important. Whenever I am talking about legislature, it means whenever I am using a word about parliament or I am talking about state assembly, it means I am talking about parliamentary law or I am talking about state assembly law. Whenever the word legislature comes, the word legislature is synonymous with law. It means here, if this person's right to life and personal liberty is taken away by legislature, whether he has protection from this legislative action or not is a question mark. Why? Because parliament is very powerful institution. You cannot go to a police station, hello police bhaiya, this parliament has made this law and I am not able to enjoy my right to life and personal liberty. So you please bring that parliament in your police station. This won't happen. It is not possible. So this is a question mark that does this person's right to life and personal liberty is protected from legislature or not? Why? It is one of the largest institution in India, very powerful institution in India. Then another institution which can take away right to life and personal liberty is executive. Executive means Prime Minister and Council of Minister. Prime Minister issued an ordinance or Prime Minister asked a particular order that from today onwards this entire area will be sealed and no one will be allowed to move on this land. And then what about the people who are having profession on that particular land? Where they will go? Right to profession is a fundamental right. But can you go to police station, sir, this minister, Prime Minister of India has said this thing, and due to their action, their decision, my right to livelihood has been violated, my right to fundamental right has been violated, so please catch hold of Prime Minister. Can you go to police station? No, you cannot go to police station. It means this person's fundamental right, which has been protected very easily from Mahesh Shinde or private institution or private individual, it does not have same protection from legislative action or executive action. Then what is the level of protection this person's fundamental right has? We will try to understand in Article 21. Clear? So this is basic question that we are trying to understand, that we are trying to come up with, whether this person's right to life and personal liberty is protected from the encroachment by legislative action and executive action or not. Basically, a private individual or judiciary, a quick remedy, a quick solution is available. But what about the solution when this right to life and personal liberty is encroached by either legislative action or executive action? Is a question to understand, is a question to analyze. Now let's go into it. What it says, see. And this is a question where we will try to understand what we have in India, whether we have procedure established by law or whether we have due process of law. Before that, one very important thing, this concept of procedure established by law, we have taken it from England, that is UK, United Kingdom. And this concept of due process of law, we have taken from United States of America. First difference, procedure established by law has been taken from UK, due process of law has been taken from USA. Second important difference, in procedure established by law, here remember, Parliament is all powerful. Here, Parliament is all powerful. We can call it as a parliamentary sovereignty. It means in England or in United Kingdom, what Parliament says is final, even it cannot be challenged in the court. What Parliament says is final. Whereas in case of America, there is judicial supremacy. It means what judiciary says shall remain final. In America, there is judicial supremacy, which says what judiciary says will remain final. So these are two extremes. In England, what Parliament says is final word. In America, what judiciary says is final. In America, there is a judicial supremacy. Now we'll try to understand what we have in India. In England, Parliament is final authority. In America, judiciary is final authority. Then what we have in India? Clear? So just try to understand this first analysis, then we'll try to understand this entire analysis from the perspective of these two words, what we have in India, whether we have procedure established by law or we have due process of law, we will try to understand. Clear? Now, what it says, see, what is Article 21? Article 21 says, first line, no person, see, when I am using a word no person, here I am not using words only citizens of India. It means, first thing, Article 21 is applicable to citizens of India as well as it is applicable to non-citizens. It means Article 21 is equally applicable to citizens and non-citizens also. So first thing, no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty. Means every individual shall have life and personal liberty. No person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty. It means whatever life and personal liberty given or bestowed upon an individual cannot be taken away. No person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty. First case. But there is an exception. Except procedure established by law. See, I will just write in a simple manner so that it will be more easy. See, no person means no individual. No person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty. So first line of fundamental right, what it says every person will have a right to life and personal liberty. Every person will have a right to life and personal liberty, and this right to life and personal liberty cannot be taken away. So, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty. No person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty is first important case. But there is an exception. What it says? No person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except. It means there is an exception to above statement. It means there is an exception to above statement. And what is exception? It means this person's right to life and personal liberty can be taken away. First line plainly it says, no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty. It is a plain statement. But there is an exception to above statement. It means this person's right to life and personal liberty can be taken away. Except, and who can take away that right to life and personal liberty? Except procedure established by law. Except procedure established by law. Now see, who makes a law? A law will be made by parliament. Who makes a law? A law is made by parliament. Now, if this law lays down a procedure, this law makes down a procedure, then according to that procedure we can take away right to life and personal liberty of an individual. This is exception. It means, now what it says? It says no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty, but there is an exception. It means, but this life and personal liberty can be taken away. It can be violated. It can be violated by, it can be violated by procedure established by law. Now who makes the law? Law is made by parliament. It means parliament, if parliament lays down a procedure for taking away right to life and personal liberty of an individual, in this case, this person's right to life and personal liberty can be taken away. What it means as per this particular case? If this is individual, we have seen two important cases. A private individual cannot take away right to life and personal liberty of a person. Second, judiciary cannot take away right to life and personal liberty of an individual. Second case. Third, executive, and fourth is legislature. Now here one important thing, this person's right to life and personal liberty cannot be taken away by these two institutions. It is very clear cut thing. But can this legislature take away right to life and personal liberty? Yes. From where it is clear? It is clear a person's life and personal liberty cannot taken away, but there is an exception. It means this right to life and personal liberty can be taken away by procedure established by law. This law is made by parliament. It means parliament can take away right to life and personal liberty of an individual. It means legislature can violate right to life and personal liberty, but executive cannot. This is the plain meaning of Article 21. Clear? This is simplest meaning of Article 21. Now, those who are watching this lecture, for them, one important line, if possible, I am going to make two important statements, or I will write these two important statements. See, four statements. First, this person's right to life and personal liberty. This person's right to life and personal liberty has a protection from private individual. Correct? It means private individual cannot take away his right to life and personal liberty. This person's right to life and personal liberty has a protection from judiciary. Yes, because judiciary does not go into violating right to life and personal liberty. Third, as per Article 21, this person's right to life and personal liberty is not protected from legislature. This line is important. This person's right to life and personal liberty is not protected from legislature. Legislature can take away this person's right to life and personal liberty. This legislature can take away this person's right to life and personal liberty. It means one very, very important line. A person's right to life and personal liberty is not protected from legislature. Legislature can take away the right to life and personal liberty of an individual, but this executive cannot take away right to life and personal liberty of an individual because they don't have right. Clear? So this is very, very important thing. This executive, it means when we go for Article 21, and its narrow meaning. Here you have to understand this person's right to life and personal liberty is protected from these three individual. First one, second one, third one. It means these three institutions cannot take away, cannot violate right to life and personal liberty of this individual, but legislature can violate this person's right to life and personal liberty. So a plain statement which comes to your mind, a person's right to life and personal liberty is not protected from legislature, it is protected from executive only. So I will write that conclusion over here for your understanding. Just read it very carefully. A person's right to life and personal liberty is protected from executive but not from legislature, which means executive cannot take away right to life and personal liberty of this individual, but legislature can take away, can violate this person's right to life and personal liberty. Clear? It means, tell me, in this case a procedure is established by law. So here who makes the law? This law is made by parliament. This law is made by parliament. Clear? So here who is supreme? In this particular case, in first case, when we read our article 21 in narrow way, here we have parliamentary sovereignty. It means original constitution of India, it talked about parliamentary sovereignty. I repeat once again, original constitution of India, it talked about parliamentary sovereignty. Article 21 talked about parliamentary sovereignty in the beginning. Then what happened? Now when this case went to Supreme Court, the famous case is A.K. Gopalan case of 1951. In A.K. Gopalan case, remember here Supreme Court narrowly interpreted Article 21. In A.K. Gopalan case, there was narrow interpretation of Article 21. And what it said? It said, as per Supreme Court decision, a person's life and personal liberty is protected from, now this line is important, is protected from arbitrary. What is meaning of arbitrary? Irrational, illogical, which is not based on any rational decision, is arbitrary, manmani, whimsical. So a person's right to life and personal liberty is protected from arbitrary executive action. It means executive cannot take away right to life and personal liberty of an individual arbitrarily. But it is not protected. This is important. But it is not protected from arbitrary legislative action. Not protected from arbitrary legislative action. It means legislature can or even arbitrarily take away right to life and personal liberty of an individual. This shows we have procedure established by law. Why procedure established by law? Because here what parliament says, it's final. If parliament makes a law, whether it is legal, rational, irrational, arbitrary or whimsical, still in any case, in beginning in A.K. Gopalan case, as said by Supreme Court, a person's right to life and personal liberty can be taken away by parliament. So this is procedure established by law signifies parliamentary sovereignty. So here remember, this particular first A.K. Gopalan case reflects we have procedure established by law, and this procedure established by law signifies we have parliamentary sovereignty. Procedure established by law, it signifies we have parliamentary sovereignty. Clear this thing? This is simple. Now, what happened in second case? Then came Menaka Gandhi case of 1978. Menaka Gandhi case of 1978. Supreme Court reviewed its earlier decision. Now one important definition about Supreme Court. Whenever you are talking about Supreme Court, always remember Supreme Court has one important definition. Supreme Court is a court of review. It means Supreme Court can review its decision by higher number of judges. For example, a decision, if it is given by 3 number of judges, then to review this decision you need 5 number of judges. Or a decision which is given by 5 number of judges, you need 7 number of judges. So Supreme Court is a court of review which can review its decision with higher number of judges bench. Till today, the bench having highest number of judges was Keshwananda Bharati case, where total number of judges was 13 number of the judges were there. Clear? So here remember, Supreme Court is a court of review. First important thing. Supreme Court here in this case had wider view of Article 21. Remember, in Menka Gandhi case, Supreme Court had wider interpretation of Article 21. Supreme Court said that we cannot go for narrower interpretation of Article 21. And the most important thing, in Menka Gandhi case, Supreme Court introduced a very important principle. Supreme Court introduced a very important American expression, that is due process of law. That is due process of law. Right. Now, what is this due process of law? We'll come to it. See. Now I will come to this part at the end. Let's go for this thing. Now, how we are going to read Article 21 after Menka Gandhi case. See, how we are going to read Article 21 after Menka Gandhi case. Why Menka Gandhi case is important? Because in Menka Gandhi case, Supreme Court had gone for wider interpretation of Article 21. Supreme Court interpreted Article 21 in a very wider sense. So here we are going to read Article 21 in a wider sense. What it says? See, listen it very carefully. Now it can be read as, no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty. First statement is as it is correct. No person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty. First case. But there is an exception. Here it is not expect, it is except. But there is an exception, except procedure established by law. So this is the original Article 21. What it said? No person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except procedure established by law. This was first statement. But this procedure, this is important, but this procedure should be just, fair, rational, which means due process of law. It means Parliament has the right to make a law for violating right to life and personal liberty of an individual. Parliament has the right. Parliament can make law, but judiciary will check whether this law is just, fair or rational or not. If the law is fair, rational or not, if the law is unfair, then judiciary will declare it as null and void. It means judiciary will not check only the words of the law, but judiciary will check intention of the law. Judiciary will check spirit of the law. Judiciary will go into essence of the law, and when judiciary checks essence, spirit or intention of law, which is called as due process of law. Just a simple example how to understand procedure established by law and due process of law. See, when we talk about procedure established by law, in procedure established by law, the meaning of that entire law is taken word by word. It is taken word by word. For example, let's my friend has thrown a party for me. He called me for the party, and in that party I said I will be there by 9 p.m. Now when I am saying I will be there by 9 p.m, it is procedure established by law, that I am giving him definite time. Whatever be the start of time of party, I am telling him that I will be there at 9 p.m. This is clear cut case. It is procedure established by law, but instead I am not saying I will be there by 9 p.m. I am saying I will be there in due time. What I am saying, I am not giving him exact time, but I am saying I will be there in due time. Now for example, a party which is being started at 8 p.m. will continue till 2 or 2:30 or 4 p.m. Then in that case I will reach that party at 11:30. So 11:30 is a due time where everyone comes. At that time when everyone comes. So when I am saying I will be there at 9 p.m, it means it is procedure established by law. But when I am saying that I will be there in due time it varies. It is based on situation. It is based on context. It is based on intention, and most importantly, it is based on objective of that particular process. So here going for the party at 9 a.m. is not going to help, as no one comes at 9 p.m. So I will be going there by due time. It means I will be reaching party at 11:30, where almost everyone, all my friends come for the party. So it is due. So when we talk about due process of law, it goes into the rationality, fairness, justness of that law, it is a key. So it is a due process of law. It means in due process of law, we do not check only what is given, what are the words of that law, we also check what is intention, what is spirit of that law is Article 21. I repeat once again what Article 21 says after Menaka Gandhi case. No person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except procedure established by law. Means they have continued this first statement. The first statement is correct. It will remain as it is. It means what? Parliament has the right to make whatever law Parliament wishes without any restriction. It means Parliament is powerful. Parliament is fully supreme. Parliament is fully sovereign. Parliament can make a law as per wishes of the Parliament, but this law or the procedure established by law should be just. It should be fair. It should be rational. It should be correct. It should be logical, and this rationality, justness, fairness or logic of that law will be checked by judiciary. Who is going to check the rationality of this law? It is judiciary, and when judiciary goes into rationality, legality, justness, fairness of a law, then it is called as due process of law. It is called as a due process of law. Clear? So this is plain statement. It means here judiciary is also supreme. Parliament has the right to make law in any way Parliament wishes, but judiciary also has the right, as per Menaka Gandhi case, to check whether this law is legal, rational, just, fair or not. It means this first statement, it shows parliamentary sovereignty, and second statement shows judicial supremacy. Second statement shows judicial supremacy. Second statement shows judicial supremacy. It means first statement is as it is intact. It has not been changed by judiciary. Judiciary has said yes, Parliament has the right to make law. Parliament can make a law and we will not check it. We will not restrict it. We will allow Parliament to make a law. But simultaneously, once a law is made by Parliament, we will check whether this law is reasonable or not, rational or not, legal or not. We will go into it. So it is, we will be checking through judiciary. So in this case, we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. How we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty? In India, we have parliament sovereign. It means parliament can make any law. There is no restriction on law making power of parliament. Parliament can absolutely make any law without any restriction. But this law, when parliament has this law to make any law without restriction, it is parliamentary sovereignty. But this law made by parliament, whether it is reasonable or not, rational or not, legal or not, shall be checked by judiciary, is a part of judicial supremacy. Clear? That's why in India, we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. Clear? We have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. So whenever a question comes, what we have in India, we have procedure established by law. But this procedure should be just, fair and rational. It means we have due process of law. So final conclusion, we have both. We have procedure established by law as well as we have due process of law. Indian Constitution says we have both procedure established by law as well as we have due process of law. Now this is what is being said. This particular Menaka Gandhi case, it introduced an important instruction which is due process of law. It means as per Supreme Court's decision. Now this is conclusion after Menaka Gandhi case. As per Supreme Court's decision, a person's right to life and personal liberty is protected. It is protected from arbitrary actions of both legislature and executive. What was the case in A.K. Gopalan case? Again, go through it. See, what was there in A.K. Gopalan case? As per Supreme Court's decision, a person's life and personal liberty is protected from arbitrary executive action. Arbitrary executive, who are executives? Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, CM and Council of Ministers. So this person's right to life and personal liberty is protected from arbitrary executive action, but not from arbitrary legislative action. It means a person do not have any protection from arbitrary legislative action as per A.K. Gopalan case. But in Maneka Gandhi case, what it said, a person's right to life and personal liberty is protected from arbitrary actions of both legislature and executive. Clear? So this is a clear-cut conclusion of Maneka Gandhi case. So what we have in India? In India, we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. We have both procedure established by law, but this procedure established by law should be just, fair, rational, which means we have due process of law. So this is what we have seen. It means a normal parliamentary law which is legal, which is rational, which is logical, can take away right to life and personal liberty of individual, but arbitrary legislative action of an individual cannot take away right to life and personal liberty of an individual. So due process of law, which is added by Maneka Gandhi case, it signifies the judicial supremacy. Due process of law, it signifies judicial supremacy. In India, we have synthesis of both procedure established by law and due process of law. That means we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty. Parliamentary sovereignty is synonymous with what? It is synonymous with procedure established by law, and we have judicial supremacy. It is synonymous with due process of law. Clear? We have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy, which means we have mixture of procedure established by law and due process of law. This is clear conclusion. Clear? Now, Supreme Court declared following right as part of Article 21. Here remember, Article 21 is the most liberally interpreted article of Indian Constitution. Article 21 has been interpreted many times, and most importantly, Article 21 has been interpreted in a many ways, in a very different ways. Clear? So that's why Supreme Court declared following rights as part of Article 21: right to live with human dignity, right to privacy, right to shelter, right to health, then right to free and legal aid, right to speedy trial of justice, right to information, right to sleep, right to electricity. This Article 21 has been interpreted so broadly that even you can say, sir, please do not speak so loudly, and my heartbeats are increasing, so please lower your volume. Also comes under Article 21 of right to life and personal liberty. Clear? So this is the case. Right to freedom from noise pollution, right to fair trial, right to timely medical treatment in government hospitals is a part of Article 21. Here remember, Article 21 is most liberally interpreted article of Indian Constitution. Article 21 is most liberally interpreted article of the Indian Constitution. Clear? We'll go for Article 21. This is all from my side. I hope you are very clear about what is Article 21. You need to understand this article, most important article of Indian Constitution, what we have in India, whether we have right to life or personal liberty, we have procedure established by law or due process of law. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.